Hi Scrubs, I hope you're well. So we're back in Horse Riding Tales. I've got Clementis with me, and I'm going to be talking about leveling up in this game, because quite a few of you guys left me a couple of questions on my last video about leveling up and progressing within the game. So I want to talk about some of the most important things in order to level up through the game. Now, when you're doing missions and quests in this game, some of the biggest ones that you'll ever have to do are masses and masses of competitions, and they take a lot of time to do, okay? Now, not only do those competitions require your horse to have a certain amount of stamina in a lot of cases, but they also require gold. So, how do you get enough stamina and how do you get enough gold to actually progress? Well, the most basic thing, and it comes all the way back to something you're probably, maybe you are expecting, maybe you're not, it's resources and mining resources. Mining resources is one of the things that I spent the most time doing whenever I first started this game. And in certain other aspects, when I had to make certain tack items as well, I had to mine huge numbers of items in order to craft some tack items. So tack's also important, obviously, for the bonuses, especially if you're going to try and get 3 stars on competitions. We're not going to worry too much about that right now. My focus is more about just getting general progress, because you will have seen in a lot of competitions I just aim to get a star, because in a lot of the missions you only need to get a star and then continue on progress. So resources are the first thing, okay? If you want to progress in this game, is mine your resources. And as you level up, use the best tools that you can make. Now, obviously I can't make any mining tools anymore because I've already got all of them, but make the mining tools as soon as they're available to you, because you can get more resources for every hit that you do. So obviously the first thing being, as I said, the gathering of resources. So what do you do after you gather the resources? Well, the next thing is crafting orbs, okay? And obviously there's 4 types of orbs. There's the uncommon, which only requires wood, iron and cotton, and then the rare, which requires those plus stone and opal. And then the one after that is the epic, which requires those as well, but in a larger amount. And then finally the fantasy orb, which requires all of those plus amber, and it's quite a lot. You need 1,000 for the first 3 items, for example. So these orbs obviously are unlocked to you as you progress through the game and you level up. Okay, so the first one obviously being the uncommon orb, and that's going to be the one that you'll use primarily at the start. And then as you get to the levels where you can unlock and capture rare horses, then you will be able to make these other orbs. So having these orbs is important, okay? Because when you have these orbs, you can capture horses. Now I want to have a look and see if there's any. We're going to go with this one. So now, obviously, when you've got your orbs crafted, you can go ahead and you can capture horses. And the thing is, when you're capturing horses, some of the horses you want to capture and you want to keep and you want to level up. But the bulk of the horses that you're going to capture are going to be captured and you're going to sell them for gold. And it's important to do this because you really can't progress without gold in this game. So if I sell this and I get some gold, okay, so now we've got some gold added into here. So the gold is important because if we go into competitions here, right, let's look at the first set of competitions you'll ever do, okay? The very first competition you'll ever do in the game will only cost you 75 gold. It's a very small amount, right? That horse that we just sold will easily cover that. But as we progress through the levels and we get into the top end, these are costing just under 5,000 in gold, okay? So we would need to sell a lot of uncommon horses, or common horses or whatever, to get that. We would need to sell less if we had a fantasy horse. That would sell for a larger amount. If we had an epic, it would sell for a larger amount, and so forth. So if we close that, we go into the dressage events. So let's have a look at what the cheapest dressage event is. Okay, so the cheapest dressage event is just over 3,000, okay? The most expensive one, okay, is 6,500, okay? Now, as I said earlier, you can see a lot of these, I've either got 1 star or 2 stars, right? Now, we're not too worried right now about getting 3 stars. This is not the focus of what I'm trying to explain right now. This is about getting just enough to get through these. So, obviously, we have our prices, okay? And those prices are going to vary, right? Now, let's have a look at the Airship Academy competitions. So, these are a lot more expensive. So, like, the first one here is 7,500. Some of the later ones are well over 11,000. So you're going to have to capture and sell a lot of horses in order to be able to do those, okay? Now, obviously, as I said, you've got your resources, you've crafted your orbs, you've captured horses and you've sold them for gold. So now about doing the actual competition. So this is the next part that is important, and I didn't really want to go into it earlier, but we'll do it now. Now if I look here into the accessories, okay, as you level up in the game and you have a look at the accessories, you'll see that they have event bonuses. So example, here is this saddle, and it gives a +5 event bonus. As you level up, let's go to this saddle. This gives a +30. Let's go up again. This is a +45. Let's go up again. We got a +70. And then finally down here, if I can find it, we have this purple fantasy saddle. It gives a +100. Okay, now there is another saddle that gives a +100, this red and white one. But this is one of the ones that you'll be asked to make during the quests. Now, why is this so important? You want to have this event bonus on whatever horse that you take into competitions, okay? Now, at some point, I actually need to go ahead and I need to make the pink fantasy leg wraps for the +100, and I also need to make the pink fantasy bridle, because those are two things I don't own. But currently, I have the pink fantasy mask and the purple fantasy saddle. The other ones that I'm currently using, I believe, is the deep blue fantasy one and this one. Now, these only give me a +80, right? So, if we take one of our horses here, okay? Now, as I said, apples are important because of stamina, right? So, if we have a look at one of these horses, for example, here is one of the first horses I ever started the game with. This is Violet, okay? If we look at her stats, she's a white common, okay? And she has a stamina gain of 2, okay? So, what I'm going to do right now is, she's got 71 stamina right now. I'm going to give her some of the apples that I currently have right now. Watch what happens. So, if we give her some of these apples, you can see that the bar is going up in XP. So, what she will then get, if you just keep looking at this number here, okay, as soon as she levels up, she goes to 73 stamina. Now, the reason for this is because of this stamina gain here. So she went from 71 to 72, she gained 2 stamina, right? So let's look at Snowdrop, for example. Snowdrop would gain 4 stamina for every level up, okay? And then if we look at Daisy, for example, here, she would gain 6 for every level up, right? She's a rare. And if we look at Blue Rose, for example, here, Blue Rose is an epic rarity horse. She'll gain 8. So now let's look at Clem, right? So Clem's here, okay? And Clem gains 10 per level up. So you can see that Clem's really close to a new level up right now. So what we're going to go ahead and do right now is we're going to give her some apples. And this is going to increase by 10. Okay, so if we give her some apples, it is going to take more apples to level her up. This is the other thing. Okay, so if we keep giving her some apples here, we're going to see her level up. So now she's gained an extra 10 stamina. Now, this is why, as you're progressing through the game, originally when I started, I was like, right, well, Violet's my starter horse, I'm going to put a lot of time and effort into her, and I did. And then I realized that she wasn't going to have the same stamina as a horse of another level, and I'll show you why. So if we look at Violet, as I said, Violet is a white common, okay, with a stamina gain of 2 per level. She's level 29, she has 73. Now, let's look at Daisy. Daisy has 179 stamina, she's also level 29, but she's a rare. So you can see here that it's more worthwhile putting your apples into a rarer type of horse, okay? Now, there are going to be different stages of your game where you're going to have to decide when is the right time, because obviously you might not immediately capture an epic, you might not immediately capture a rare, you might not immediately capture a fantasy once you unlock the ability. It might take a while before you actually find one. So obviously, once you have chosen, well, you know, whatever horse you're going to level up and done that, that's when you want to put the apples in. That's whenever you want to spend the time doing that. And then obviously the next thing is going to be the accessories. I have the +100 mask on her, I have the +100 saddle, and I don't know if I have a bridle on her right now. At the moment, I think I might be missing a bridle on her, but I do have my +80 leg wraps. So I would want to make sure that she goes in with the best stats possible, so you want to make sure that you're wearing the right accessories with the best stats that you currently can have, okay? You're not going to be able to get the +100 when you first start out. You're going to end up with some of the ones that are at the start, at the lower levels. That's fine, but just make sure that they're best stats that you can get at that time and use those. So once you have the best tack on The other thing is your horse's happiness. Okay, so right now Clem is unhappy, so Clem needs to be washed, she also needs to have shoes on her, and she needs her bed done. Now, I'm going to show you a tip that someone shared with me a long time ago with this, and that is you don't have to completely clean the bed whenever you're doing this. Now, I don't have enough bedding here to clean her bed, and I don't have enough shoes. Now, as your horses level up, it does require more items to do this, so I'm just going to mention that. We're going to go ahead and craft some bedding and stuff here. So, let's take her in here. Okay. So, because of the player level I'm at, it's going to take more shoes for Clem. So, it's not like one shoe per foot, so it is a little expensive. Now, you can see they're happy, you know, that she's now happy. Okay, her mood's going up. If we wanted to ensure, let's say we were doing a competition that takes a really long time, it might just be worth putting a little bit of extra bedding in. We can go ahead and do the whole bed. You don't have to, because at this point she's pretty much happy. I mean, I'm going to do it just to show you that that doesn't change when you get her to the full thing. But it brings her to the top of the happiness bar, okay? You don't have to. As I said, we could have just left or done a little bit of the hay and left it at that. So she's got full happiness and all that now. So at this point, she's got good static gear on. She's got enough stamina. I'm aware that she has enough stamina, so I could take her in here and do a competition. Now, I'm not sure which competition I'm going to go ahead and choose to do. Now, I've already completed the game, obviously, so we're just going to go ahead and pick a competition that I haven't got 3 stars in yet, so we'll go ahead and we'll do this one. So, let's have a look. So, this competition requires 29, okay? This is another thing as well. I'm not going to do it right now, but watch the bonus videos to get extra rewards, because obviously right now you get more apples, you get 50% more apples for doing this. It's worthwhile to do that. I'm just not going to do it because I don't want to have to watch the video, but this is worth doing whenever you're progressing through the game. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start this event because we've got to jump 29 fences. So obviously whenever it comes to doing the different types of competitions, I will say a couple of things. With the show jumping, you need to have enough stamina to get through to at least get a star. Now, I'm going to aim for 3 stars this time. This is not necessarily something you have to do. You will see it in whenever I'm doing my Let's Play, pretty much of the game. I do it a lot where I just aim to get a star in a lot of competitions. I make sure that I just have enough stamina just to sort of get me over the line, essentially. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the rest of these fences. I'm going to make sure that I jump every single one. But I'm going to talk briefly first about dressage and then a little bit about the Airshow Academy. Now, I think maybe those themselves maybe require more specific videos on them, because the dressage can be a little bit confusing, as can the Airshow Academy. If you guys would like me to talk about those, let me know in the comments down below. But I'm just going to talk about them really generally right now, rather than doing a demo, okay? Or a tutorial about it. So obviously when it comes to show jumping, you want to have enough stamina to jump the fences. When it comes to the dressage is very stamina heavy, as is the Airshow Academy. I thought the show jumping was stamina heavy until I did those, and then I was like, wow, okay, these really eat into stamina. So dressage to me is you have to try and keep the arrow within the target. And it can be quite difficult, especially if you get lag. And if you do get lag, I would advise probably turning down your distance render in the game itself. And if you guys want me to do a video about dressage or the Airshow Academy, I'll show you how to do that. When it comes to the Airshow Academy, it's about going through the hoops at the right time, and sound is a big helper with that. I always think it's good to have the game sound on to help you sort of figure out when to go and when is best. But right, I'm going to continue doing the rest of these competitions, and I'll come back just before I finish the competition. Okay, so we're here about to just do our last fence here. I haven't hit any of the fences. I've managed to go over all of them successfully. So obviously Clem has a massive amount of stamina left. That's because she's really high level and I've already finished the game with her. So she is very, very leveled up. Now we are expecting to see 3 stars there, which we do. So let's talk about these different parts of this. So obviously we've got 3 star because we managed to jump all of the fences successfully in this, okay? We didn't hit any, we didn't fail to go through any of them or anything like that. We had enough stamina to finish the entire competition. The next thing is mood, okay? So the mood is 1.5. This means that she was really happy throughout the competition because we made sure to clean her, we give her some shoes, and we give her some bedding as well. The next part is the appearance. This is when I was talking about the stats of your tack. So you can see that 2 of my tack items give plus 100. As I said, there was 2 other items there that only give plus 80. Now eventually, when I want to go and do the Skyrider, for example, competitions, and probably some of the dressage, I'm going to need to go ahead and make the other plus 100 tack items so that I can get the best possible chance of getting the top result on those competitions. At this stage right now, I'm not going to be doing that. But eventually in the future, I want to have the plus 100 leg wraps and the plus 100 bridle so that I can do that. Now finally we get our prize. So the apples here at the bottom. So a couple of things. If I had got 1 star or 2 stars, I would have less apples than this, okay? Now if I had watched the video at the start of this, I would actually get 50% more apples. So now that you've got your apples, okay, so let's go on ahead through here and we'll go back to the stable, okay? So then once you've got your apples, from doing your competition now, you can give them to your horse and level your horse up. So essentially you've done 2 things. As you collect your resources, you know, make your orbs, capture those horses, get gold from selling those horses, and do the competitions and gain those apples, you're doing a couple of things. One, you're able to level up your horse because you get apples, and secondly, for your own player self, as you complete the competitions and do well in those competitions, it will level your character up, okay? So you're leveling both you and your horse up, and eventually you'll get the progress that you kind of want. And this is why this part is so important. I think that's why, to me, it always comes down to resources. Resources are like the biggest thing you need to spend time on in this game. And I would typically have mined resources when I was watching TV, because sometimes whenever you have like 8,000 resources to mine, for example, it takes quite a while, so I like to be doing something else while I'm doing it. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any further questions, that's absolutely fine. There is one thing I'm going to say though. There are certain aspects of this that I feel like you might have more specific questions about a particular race, like how much stamina do you need for this race? It can vary a little bit, because I find, this is just for me personally, like when I'm doing the dressage and especially the dressage more than the Airshow Academy, my phone doesn't really cope sometimes, I think, with lag and things like that sometimes, and sometimes if you lag when you're doing a dressage competition, it can be really annoying, because then you'll miss a movement or you'll miss part of the movement and then you'll get a lower score. So I need a horse that has more stamina when I'm doing that than maybe somebody who had a phone that doesn't lag. So it can be, difficult to judge that, but I will say one thing. If at any point you're thinking, well, what horse did she use when she did this competition? Go and have a look at my previous videos, okay? And see if you can find round about what level that I am, and you'll probably then be able to figure out, do I need to go back a couple of videos or go forward a couple of videos, and you'll probably be able to see me doing competitions. You know, probably what level it was at and things like that. Not always, but in a lot of cases you probably will. But I hope this has been helpful. As I said, I haven't gone over every single thing. I kind of wanted to like talk about this a little bit, and then if it was helpful, you guys can let me know, or if there's anything that you think I missed, feel free to share any tips that you have that you think would be helpful to other people. So anyway, scrubs, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you had a lovely day. Bye guys.